Hey, how's it going, class? Hope the week's going cool. Labor Day gave you a day off. Didn't for me, but hey, I got time and a half. So, I guess we have a few questions or things we have to do for this week's post discussion. And it's provide 2 to 3 key insights you have from engaging in the scanning process for your decision focus area. Make sure to include at least one leadership insight related to you as a leader and what you are learning about leadership as it relates to strategy. So, reading into it a little bit more, we have to go with STEEP: society, technology, education, environment, politics, policy, and go through some websites and kind of see what connectors popped up. And also with the reading, I kind of came up with a whole little array of little things that I think were pretty cool when it comes to this whole process of the future and business. So let's start off first by saying I do most of my posts as a reflect from fatherhood, uh, having a young child. Well, she's young, 11. Um, Law enforcement. I love it. Prayerfully, I get back. Say a prayer for me. I'm close. I might go back. Say a prayer. And FedEx. So when I look at things, and plus we have an assignment, and with our assignment, FedEx is actually what we're using as a company. It's a little hard because it's been around for a while and it's so big. And I mean, it's just interesting because I just saw a post from our founder, Fred Smith, the other day where now they're trying to pay $100 to every employee who brings in someone who is hired by the company and works for us. I think it's 90 days, at least 90 days past their probation, and you get $100. So yeah, it's just crazy stuff that what they're doing to try and keep things moving and deal with competition out there. So, and then on the law enforcement side, something totally different um, of the future and where it's going and the hurdles they're dealing with right now. So, another thing, so we'll go into some of the reading and the articles. And one thing that hit me was I found it interesting how the sites all touch on planning. Well, the doctor from one of the videos said you can't plan the future because then you kind of, when you do that plan, you stay on that one road. So let's use the word prepared. They all want you to. They're selling. Are you prepared? If it's for the present, what's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen far in the future? However they're selling it, that was something that a lot of people hit on. It was pretty interesting. And then in the book, while you're learning how to get to the future, talking, you got to gather the information. Our reading from Woody, scenario planning. You got to gather. That's something like we're doing right now in our group. You know, we're trying to get this information of what's going on right now with FedEx and how is it working and where is it trying to go. With what we have and with law enforcement, it's that's more of, I guess, when you get steep the political thing to me, um, how that's working right now, because it's, what happens today is going to be hot and I don't know, just different. But the overall plan should be how can we get the relationship between the communities law enforcement works with and in and the law enforcement itself in a better situation for the future, so it helps the overall morale of the citizens and the officers, and makes it just safer for everyone all around, from the community to, just the individual. And then you get the driving force. It's like, what's driving us to get there? For FedEx, it's like, okay, here's the bump in the road. Amazon was a big customer, but FedEx survived before Amazon was even a customer, when they were just putting books on a tablet, right? So apples and oranges. Can we do that? They did. They weren't going to take it, and we, well, FedEx took a real hit though, because they got used to it. So now, where do we go in the future? Well, we want to make sure we have good employees, and with our interviews, and I also talked about that, the interviewing process and all this other stuff, and just everything that you need to um, get yourself ready for what's to come. And one thing FedEx does is, when they see a bump in the road coming in the future, they hear as something, they know something. Like before the economy even took the dip back in the day and they predicted another, they already started doing buyouts. Let's slim down so we don't have to lay off. Let's buy out as many people as we can who've been these employees who've been here for 20 plus years, and we do that by departments and try and rearrange things. And we're going to start trying to cut numbers right now, so when it hits, we've already made adjustments, we've already had some type of profit, and we're working on keeping that profit flowing before that hits. They do that. I have to admit, that's something that they do, and they hit it hard, because we hear it every single day when we're about to go through something in the future that they see. And that's more of months to a year, not the 10 or 20, the 10 or 11 that we're looking at. And and with law enforcement, it's just the whole point, I think, from police chief and sheriff's point of view, is they don't want the politicians in the states running their department. They're close to losing some of the power they have to politicians, to say this is what we're going to do with these officers who end up in trouble because you're not doing anything about it, or we keep going through this. And to try and break up the the culture in law enforcement, that is the negative culture. There's a negative culture, positive culture. So to get that future, so it's better. I don't really think the politicians are working for the 10-year gap more than can I get reelected gap. But that's just me. Uh, I personally want to go back to law enforcement, and I want this master's. I've already worked for the one that I love, my passion in writing, but this one, coupled with me going back into law enforcement, is so I can get involved in the California Post and dealing with dealing with present issues to make a better future for law enforcement and communities. Not to ignore issues, but also not to just sit here and act like it's every officer's bad. So, and tackle the culture from the beginning in the academy and make it a very stern training. And when the old heads, veterans, get in there and discourage, because it's apples and oranges from the police academy and what you do in the streets. They'll teach you don't do this in the academy, but when you go on the streets, these are veteran officers. It's going to be a different lesson, and you can't tell them no, being a trainee. So I want to get involved for a future with that. Um, and I want that to be the next 10, 5 years. So I'm praying. That's why I want to go back, and I want this master's, because that way when I touch down and I get off training and get back over there, I can get in the post, which is the overall seer policymaker of police departments and sheriff departments in the state, and every state has it. So that's for me. And something interesting I got from the future thinking video, where the doctor says he's talking about foresight and framework, and what you expect and what you see compared to what it may be. And you being closed in, you may miss something, and it's not wrong or right, but you'll miss it because you only see what you know. Your foresight is, hey, like he mentioned, the laundromat. I mean, it's just something you're so used to, but it's good to step out of that. And when you get that framework while you're working on a future project, you see what's going on in the present, and you do the research and try to figure it out for the future. It can really be a good thing and get you more rounded for that. And that's where the framework comes in. So that's pretty much where I got there. And that's pretty much what I'm also getting from what I'm learning at this moment. Your results can be better. And again, for me in law enforcement and FedEx, being proactive is huge. It's huge when you're dealing with people at FedEx, if it's employees, because I'm in the legal security department, I do security investigations. It can be a challenge because sometimes these guys who are working, getting a paycheck, act like they're convicts and they just trying to come up and make money and do dumb things, really dumb. So we got to watch how we do that because it's not only about protecting our clients' freight and what they're putting into it, but also the safety being at an airport and people and who will try and hurt people. So being proactive, and that's what it is as a leader. You also like, I have my staff and I'm very understanding. It's like, okay, this is what's going on right now. I'm gonna let you guys handle it. Let's go. Now, if I get to that point where I have to jump in and it's not good, then that's different. But it's also by example. I can do anything you can do. I'm glad you trust coming to me. That's leadership. Also, I want to bring you up so you can be the next supervisor. Or even if you have to jump over my position because I'm not trying to do that, you're ready. You know what's coming. So leadership to me is what the future is. Hey, what am I doing with you right now? So you'll have a nice long career here and promote and enjoy it and understand the rights, the wrongs, the do's, the don'ts, and what you have to do to be happy and promote and get to the top pay of where you want to be. And FedEx is one of those places. You can have a high school diploma, but you work up and you work yourself, and you can do six figures with just a high school diploma. And that's what that is. So it all falls in. So I know I love to get in here and I just look at the questions and I go and I take my notes. I apologize. I know my videos are long. Apologize. So thank you guys. I'll check your feedback and I will look at your videos and get on it.